Hi, I'm Simone Satele. I work with Public Profit in Oakland, California to help after-school programs build quality programming and evaluate their impact. This video will show you one way after-school programs can take a good, realistic look at their programming, figure out what they're doing well and what they need to do better. We call this process the cycle of continuous improvement. You may have heard about it. The cycle starts with program assessment, which helps you figure out what you need to improve, and then walks you through planning improvements, implementing them, and starting the whole process again with an assessment of what's changed. A key tool is the assessment tool that starts the process. In this video, we're focusing on a point-of-service assessment using an observation tool called the Youth Program Quality Assessment, or YPQA tool. There are many types of assessment tools and ways of looking at quality. This is just one example. As you'll hear, YPQA help program staff compare programming as it's happening against very specific quality standards. This video follows the story of two very different communities that have been using the YPQA. We thought this was an interesting story because the communities are very different. Oakland is a large and very diverse city. The Georgetown Divide is a small rural town with a largely white population and little socioeconomic diversity. In both places, the YPQA helped after-school staff figure out what to do to make their programs better. The Oakland Unified School District is new to this assessment process, so you'll hear about why the after-school program staff started doing this assessment, the immediate benefits for their programs and staff, and some immediate lessons learned. In the Georgetown Divide, the Black Oak Mine School District is 3 years into the improvement process, so they'll tell you about the lasting changes seen in their staff and program design. They'll also have strong ideas about the best ways to use the tool. We hope this video will give you an idea of how gathering concrete data at the point of service between staff and youth could really make a difference to your program.
In Oakland Unified School District, we have 83 after-school programs that are funded by state and federal dollars. So we have after-school programs at almost all our elementary, middle, and high school sites. And when the Prop 49 funding rolled out in 2007, our after-school programs tripled. So we have been evaluating our after-school programs and utilizing a site visit protocol tool that we developed internally and the Youth Program Quality Assessment tool that we adopted this year as a result of the YPQA pilot project. A tool that seemed more beneficial for the sites because it's rubric-based, first of all. So it became very clear to ourselves in the after-school programs office, as well as to our lead agency partners and to the staff, after-school staff at the school sites, what we were looking for in terms of quality.
So we really like this evaluation tool. The tool is more concrete than most tools that we see. I think everything's clearly defined, the expectations when they're coming in to do the evaluation, which makes it so much easier for our line staff, who are the ones that are actually getting evaluated, for us to prep them, to train them, to make sure that they now know what it is. Their expectations are very clear. And that's what I really liked about the tool. It didn't just say something like, I want to see meaningful learning, and that can kind of be really vague, and I don't know what meaningful learning to me could be something very different than what the assessor's coming in to do, or coming in to see. And so this was very concrete, like these are the things that they were looking at when they came in to evaluate.
You know, like the youth development principles that we were using, it was more a theory versus this is what it actually is. So it allowed us like, oh, okay, this works if I do this specifically. Now we really know what to target with our kids and be really intentional with it.
For the purposes of the YPQI pilot, we identified 9 different programs that were willing to take up a slightly more intense version of the self-assessment that started with a self-assessment led by the program coordinator in the fall. Our team, as external assessors, also did an independent assessment of quality. And based on those results, the programs developed a program improvement plan, again, kind of drawing off of what the staff members saw of their own program, as well as what we saw as external assessors.
It helps them how they see the program, how they articulate the program, how they get the youth involved, and really going back and say, did you ever ask them about this process of youth quality? Because they're very much experiencing it at the same time you're experiencing it. And that was a big aha in the reactions.
It also allowed us to really get the specifics on what exactly is engagement, the interaction, identifying what's safety and supportive environment, and also really look at our academic climate more closely. It allowed us to think outside of the box and look at the bigger picture, thinking that, okay, we thought it was great, but these are really the specifics that we could really improve our program.
It's practical, so I think that it brings in the practice, and it's fluid enough to where when you're writing things up, it can be geared towards a certain audience that may only see it in one way, and they may not have the practice of being in the classroom or in the community or working after school. And then you can also bring it to those who, in the same token, don't have the other.
And so while I think we've learned a whole lot from those 9 pilot sites who have gone through that more formal and structured process, a lot of other programs have been doing things with the YPQA in support of their own program improvement that's been really exciting and innovative. A couple of coordinators have told us it's changed the way that they craft their job descriptions for line staff. It's really gone a long way, I think, for those programs that wanted to take it up and creating shared language.
Our teaching staff now really understand what it is that they were doing and what it is that we want to see. And so I think they're making individual changes. We did training around all of the changes, and then now they're making those individual changes, and we can go in there and reassess them and give them concrete and objective information.
So we were able as an agency to line it up with YPQA. It allowed us to really grow and learn a lot on the delivery of services to our kids. And we saw a significant impact immediately, like within, I say, a good 8-week turnaround. We got a lot better. And from what we're great, now we're greater.
And now the programs are really in the process of implementing that improvement plan and assessing their own progress in making improvements that they had identified for themselves.
Georgetown School is part of the Black Oak Mine Unified School District. We have kindergarten through 8th grade, about 400 kids, 417. A lot of our families are living in poverty, and about 60% of our families are eligible for free and reduced lunch. Most of our kids are white, Caucasian. We have very few English language learners at our school. And everybody wants the best for their kids, and we know that. And I think that's one of the reasons the Boys and Girls Club program has worked so well, is because they have a similar standard, that they know that their job is to keep the kids safe and keep that high standard so the community trusts them.
We've found that the use of a point-of-service assessment tool gives us a lot of valuable information that we've been used to manage our program better. For example, it becomes very obvious what training needs are necessary.
Okay, so Stephanie did the program quality assessment, and after she did the assessment, she came up with a few things, and they were how to run their programs, including the tenets of the youth worker methods, which were safety, skill building, relationship building, that sorts of things. And so we did a program training.
All right, so after the evaluation, we went through some training that helped us figure out some problems and how to handle these problems that we have in our everyday job. All right, so some kids get under our skin, and we all have our things that set us off, basically. And we went over ways to handle those instead of just getting angry at the kids, or something like a positive attitude to handle those kind of problems.
The trainings help us learn to deal with the children in not a deficit manner, so trying to be more positive with them, basically just talking to them, not talking at them.
It's hard to give youth workers enough dosage of training when they have to be, you can't ship them all to a training. They have to be here doing their program. So we found this to be an absolutely wonderful way to honor what they were doing, to coach them, to make them feel better, to make them know when they were doing it right, to do all those things.
We set up a program where they can work towards something. That way it's less negative as far as you're not doing this, so you can't do this. We're trying to make it more positive so that we recognize when they're doing a really, really great job. We don't recognize every little thing they do, but if they complete an assignment every day and they stay focused, then they get a check, and when you get 5 checks, you get a certain reward.
Before we had the YPQA, the classroom was kind of hectic, and each of the staff, we all had our own separate kids that we could handle, or we weren't really a team or a group. But after YPQA, we were able to come closer together and able to help each other more, and it helped us calm the kids down more and keep them more involved instead of just getting bored and not wanting to come.
It takes a while for a program to get good. I've seen this because I've been involved in evaluating a variety of programs, and really getting youth development into a culture takes a long time. Continuous improvement can make everybody feel good. People like to get better. They like, if they're having a problem, to be supported in getting better.
We also talked about it a lot before we introduced the tool to our staff. So they answered all the questions, and they knew they were doing this before they saw the tool. So we would ask them, we'd put the strategies or the items up on the board and ask them to define it. And then we also asked them to give us strategies. And just to make sure that they were defining the language the same way that the tool was. And if it was different, then we talked about, why it was different. And then when they came up with their own strategies, they actually came up with way more strategies than was on the tool. So by the time they saw the tool, it didn't seem as intimidating.
I do hear people talk about a high-stakes approach where the assessment information is used, to evaluate people, to perhaps to affect perhaps whether or not they get raises in different settings. I've heard of funders using it to make or break a program. We've used the tool to shape our budgets. For example, we use the tool to identify our training needs, and therefore we put additional money into our budget for training and coaching and mentoring our point-of-service staff.
Welcome back. As you can see, YPQA and point-of-service tools can be helpful. Here are some points from these few stories. Point-of-service assessment helps you see concrete ways in which you can improve your program. It's really important that everyone on staff, in management and from funding sources, is brought into the process and understands what's happening. The process of improving your program takes time. As it gets better, you'll always find more things you want to improve. Over time, real visible benefits for your kids come with better programming and the management structure to support it. In addition to the YPQA, there are many assessment tools, including the California Afterschool Network's Quality Self-Assessment Tool, and a whole bunch of other observation tools that are described in a guide from the Forum for Youth Investment. No matter which assessment tool you choose, I'm sure you'll be inspired to see what you're already doing well and start planning what you can do better. We have even more information about quality self-assessment tools online. Thank you so much for watching.